Today I'm visiting WTL Pregnancy Center in Waller, Texas, just 50 miles east of Houston. Small community, real community. This lady's doing some incredible work. Let's go inside. I want to show you what's going on. Hi, is Janet here? All right, how are you doing? Good. Janet here?
Yes, sir.
Would you get it for me? Thank you. Oh, hey, how are you?
Mike, welcome
Good.
to our center.
All right.
Okay, first thing, they come from the waiting room right into the restroom. We get their urine specimen so we can confirm this pregnancy. Over here is our medical room where they get an opportunity to get on this ultrasound machine. They get to hear that baby, they get to see movement. We are able to confirm that this baby's in the womb and not in the tubes. We can tell how many weeks they are for sure. So this is the big room for us and the big room for them. They look forward to it. So the next step for our client is to come into our counseling room where they get a chance to talk with one of our counselors, and they are able to talk about their pregnancy. We're able to give them life-affirming options. So here we have our little baby center, and this just lets our clients know that we're here, we're prepared for them. We're able to give them the supplies they need, those essentials, diapers, wipes, baby clothing. Mike, we have another counseling room, which is prepared for our moms or our dads, and we can sit down and counsel, nice, comfortable, and we can talk about whatever it is that concerns them. And next door, we have our prayer room. And here is where we get the opportunity to sit quietly, soft music, and talk to our clients about the Word of God. You know, my focus is always on that young woman and what she's dealing with. And what I'm finding is that what's changing significantly is that women are coming in sooner concerning their pregnancy. But now, especially with home pregnancy tests, women are coming in at 4 weeks pregnant, 5 weeks. Real human life, babies, and they want to talk and they want concerns. So we want to be there as early as we can and as soon as they want to talk about what's going on. So we're getting more women because they're coming in a lot earlier. I've actually been nursing for 42 years. Most of my nursing was in labor and delivery, about 25 of those years. And when I moved to Waller, I began nursing on Prairie View A&M campus. They had an OB/GYN clinic up there, and it was open primarily to students, also to public. And so I began seeing a lot of young girls, students primarily, coming in pregnant, not sure what to do. And I was just a little puzzled, is there anywhere here that is able to help them? And as that time began to go on, I began looking at the high schools as well, and students there began coming to me, maybe because I was a nurse and I recognized that there was not much OB services in our community, and these were young women that needed help in a crisis time of pregnancy. And from that, I just began going into the schools, the colleges, the high schools, the gym classes in the schools. And by God's grace, we were able to get into the schools and just be able to help the women that were trying to make the decisions about their pregnancy and just giving them those life-affirming options. As time went on, I opened up my living room to these young ladies as they were coming through and they wanted the privacy. I would just do the pregnancy test wherever I was. And over time, I was asked to help all women. And so all women began coming. There's just no hospital in our county. There's no health department in our county. There's no OB offices in our county. And I just saw the need. Me and my husband opened our doors and our house became a full-fledged pregnancy center. We were living outside. Community began to embrace, and they began to pour and help us with these young women who were trying to make decisions and helping them not even just during that time, but also after. And we moved into the community, and it's been going on for 20 years. I never thought it would last that long. So many women that we're here, we're like, there's nothing in this area. We're so glad you're here. And that was just a catalyst to keep me going. We operated our house from 2004. We were the Way, Truth, and Life outreach, because we were actually outreaching. We were getting in our cars and meeting people at churches, at community centers, at aunties' houses, wherever we could meet them, at the schools. And we would just go in our cars. And then that was for 4 years. Then we became the Waller Pregnancy Care Center. And we stayed in there for another 2 years. So we actually were in my house for 6 years. Waller is about 40 minutes from downtown Houston. Once you pass the suburbs, you get into the rural area. Yes. Half of the city of Waller is Harris County, just like Houston is, and the other half is Waller County. And so we are really serving both counties. I think that one of our biggest goals is to get more clients from the college, because the college is the place where things go awry and pregnancy is rampant. Women don't know what decisions to make, how to help themselves, where to go. And because we are not actually on campus, it has become more difficult to access students, because the student population turns over. They're there a semester, then they're gone, or they're there the next semester. You literally need to just be right on campus. And we've had opportunities where we had little rooms on campus that were given to us to use just for that purpose of testing or teaching pregnancy. But it's so far and few between that it's been hard to stay and be a face. When I was going to college, I was an undergraduate straight from high school into nursing school, and I became pregnant. And I was in college, and I understand what the dynamics is like there. And when I became pregnant, I didn't really know what to do. A lot of the friends on campus are like, oh no, you shouldn't have a baby. You know, you get all of that from the outside. So I went home and I talked to my mother, and I told her I was pregnant, with the hopes and desire to have my baby. But she unfortunately said no. And I chose the abortion to stay in school and be obedient to my mother. My sin, my fault, my decision. And I have seen here at this center personally, many students come with that same dilemma. My parents are going to kill me. You know, I cannot have this baby. But for God and prayer teams, we have seen parents come into this center with their children, students, and we have told them how we would help them through that school time, that we would be their protectors. We have spoken to them on phones, just thinking of that situation alone. And we have seen students through college right here at Prairie View many, many times. Whatever it takes. Yes. From connecting them to the community and being able to be there for them, it makes a big difference in that decision of life that that young college student makes. They're dealing with anxiety already from school. They're just struggling what to do. And this is not even just students. They're depressed because they've been muddling over this in their mind for so long without having someone to talk it out with, which is why we're here, to give them options. It's sad to see their sadness in their face and their demeanor. But when they come back in and they have this grin on their face after that ultrasound, oh my gosh, it's like God's glory walking through the door over and over again. Contrary, people really think that they're not going to get pregnant again. And on campus, you end up getting pregnant again. Exactly what happened to me. So now I'm in my 3rd year. I got pregnant the 2nd year, got pregnant again the 3rd year. And shame, guilt. Didn't go to tell my mother at that time. I just went myself because I just assumed and already knew what she was going to say to me. And I just went alone. I stayed the night at a girlfriend. And I got up the next day and I went back to school. Never shared it, never told anyone. And I know it's still happening today. That was many years ago when Roe versus Wade just became law. And I can remember how the women were always just talking about this law and what's going on. And it just kind of went over my head. Never thought I'd find myself in that situation. But it gets even more deeper. And this is why I say, yes, they get pregnant again and again. And that's what I would see on college campus. I would see them coming in with different issues, with female issues that was repetitive through the school time. So I got pregnant again the third year, dealing with the shame, but I had already decided when I saw that pregnancy test that I was having my baby. Nothing could stop me from having my baby. I wasn't going to do that again. Not only did I recognize that I was damaging my body, I was damaging my generation, was damaging my future, my children's future. It was many years ago, but I've walked with that depression, guilt for years, of inability, even in relationships that I had were not well. It was just a lot that goes on inside of a woman that keeps that for so many years. But then one day, God stepped in, and I actually went to what I would call a healing, post-abortion healing. I heard about that, never knew it existed. And once I went through that 10-week time with God and a couple of other ladies, that is when all of the chains fell off. Mind you, I'm a grown woman with 3 children living a life at that point. So I understand that college dynamic, and that is why I have such a heart and a passion for the college students and to be there. So not only do we want to just be there to do the pregnancy test and help them with the decisions, do that ultrasound, we want to be able to help those that have negative tests and have had abortions or are coming go through that same post-abortion healing counseling time. Otherwise, they will repeat and they will repeat and they will repeat. And that's what we want to avoid. We want them to see life as it is. Abraham's Den is a new program that we've started for fathers. We've always served fathers in the best way that we could, but we now have a male staff worker who is able to relate to them male on male. And he actually brings in men from the churches, the men groups from the churches to come in to be a big part of that. And it has been a great success. We kind of started, I'd say maybe a couple of years, but this year it has just really been booming. When a woman is trying to make a decision about her pregnancy, we know the man is one of the most determining factors whether or not she's going to have that baby. Right. Because they are very concerned that they're going to raise a child without a dad. They are dealing with issues that they might have had. Okay, see, this goes back and back and back. You know, they might have known their mom didn't have a dad or they didn't have a dad. So it's important that they want their baby. But it could be more devastating in their mind that there's no dad. So we always have to address that issue. But when the dad comes in with them or he's willing to talk this out, we're here for him too. And keep in mind, we've had dads that came in and said, you know, my girlfriend's pregnant, I don't know what to do, and have brought her in. We become a safe place for them to just talk that out and to be able to share back and forth and what things that they might have not said or might have said, need to apologize for and need to straighten out. And we're there as that advocate, that mediator, to listen, to give advice when asked, and also work with them to see what is the best life-affirming option. It's 23% are men that come in with the woman. And it just amazes me that I would say out of that 23%, most of them, I'd say at least 20%, because once they're in that room and they see the ultrasound and they go through the pregnancy test, they come back for sessions with her. We do different types of activities in our group room, and we do couple events. We connect them to families, couples in the churches that undergird them. It's been a wonder of 20 years that just, I could talk about it forever to see. I've seen couples married. It's just been glorious. That part has been glorious.
I stand with the forgotten women.